Up next, we have a very special guest, one of our keynote speakers. Let's all have a round of applause for Mr. Jacob Tobey from the San Antonio Spurs. Now, Jacob Tobey is from the Mashpee Wampanoag, and he's here on behalf of the NBA to share some wise words about following your dreams and chasing your passions.
All right. How we doing? That was not good. How are we doing? I love it. This is my first time at Unity. And it ain't gonna be my last. So my name's Jacob Tobey. I'm a member of the Mashpee Wampanoag Tribe. I'm from a town in Massachusetts called Sandwich. That's true. I'm from a town called Sandwich, but my tribe's from Mashpee, which is a town over. And I work in the NBA. And I work for the San Antonio Spurs, 5-time NBA champions. And I'm their television announcer. So if you don't know what that is, if you're watching the game and you hear some people talking over the game, that's me. I get to talk basketball for a living. I think I have the best job in the world. And it was a dream since I was 10 years old. And I'm 28 now, and I'm the youngest announcer in the NBA, which is pretty cool. I'm also the first Native American announcer in the NBA. And if you told me that I would be speaking here even 4 years ago, I'd be like, there's no way. But I'm super happy to be here. You all have inspired me, seeing you guys come in here, show off the culture, show off the passion. We were playing games last night. We were singing, we were dancing. I had a fantastic time, so give it up for yourselves. It's been amazing. I'm going to show a quick video of some of the stuff that I do. This is my first year with the Spurs, so you can get an idea of what I do for a living, and then we can keep going.
It's the first of a 4-game road trip for the Spurs, and it takes them to Portland inside Moda Center. The final road trip of this season. It's the Spurs, and it's the Portland Trailblazers. And hello, everybody. What is going on? Jacob Tobey alongside number 32, Sean Elliott. Well, Sean, Uncle Harrison Barnes almost won the game for the Spurs at the buzzer last time against the Cavs, but he did have another 20-point game, his third straight that ties a season-long streak for him. He was oh so close to winning that game. Harden dishing. Derrick Jones Jr. No chance against Wemby.
What were you thinking?
That's his 7th block. Paul finishes the play. Wemby, spectacular in La La Land. Harrison Barnes, the former Warrior, fades for the win. Harrison Barnes does it in the Bay. See what happens in Miami on Tuesday. Turned over again by the Jazz. Trey Jones. Oh, Keldon! He took a body. Snatched his soul. Branham, guarded by George. Nana Wembanyama, guarded by Kispert. Turns, shoots, and swishes for 50. He's not human. He's an alien. Clock at 5. Fox fades for the win. Get in! De'Aaron Fox, you are him. Wembanyama 3. There it is. The point guard, now second on the NBA's all-time assist list. Trying to get Wemby against LeBron. How about this? Wemby spins, blows right past the King. He's running hard. Paul got it knocked away. Trying to fight for it back, and it works. Oh, Castle, the no-look to Wembanyama. Quick break, and blocked by Wemby. Paul up to Sohan. Shovel pass Vassell. Spurs within 1. Wembanyama, the one-footer for the lead. He's a cheat code.
That's what I get to do for a living. They pay me to do that, which is pretty crazy, and it's surreal to watch you guys watching me because that's what I dreamed about when I was 10 years old. So I also do the WNBA as well. Yep. I'm the announcer for the newest WNBA team, the Golden State Valkyries in San Francisco, the 13th WNBA team. And I've had a great summer so far. I love being a part of women's sports. Our girls can hoop, man. Our girls can hoop. Come on now. Yep. So like I said, I come from Sandwich, Massachusetts. I know, it's funny, whatever. This is my family, my sister Corinne, my mom Christine, and my dad Dana. And my dad is Native American. And I didn't grow up like a lot of you guys. I didn't grow up on the res. I didn't grow up connected to my culture. We were sort of separated a little bit for different reasons. But I'm proud to be standing here today representing my tribe. A couple summers ago, I got hooked up with the Native American Basketball Invitational, or NABI, and I'm the announcer for their championship game. And we have an all-native broadcast, and that happens in Phoenix every summer. And that changed my life. That changed my life. I got connected to my culture. I sort of felt left out when I was there. I was like, wow, everyone, is so connected. Everyone has a native name. Like, I should get a native name. I should go back to my tribe and get a native name. So the next summer, I made a promise to myself that I would go and get my native name. And so I went with my dad. Our ceremony, we go to our cemetery on the Sunday of our powwow. Our powwow is July 4th every summer, so I'm actually going back home for that this weekend. And we go to our cemetery, and our medicine man asks our family questions, speak about yourself, and he gives us our name. And so I got my name Strong Oak, and my dad got his name, and his name is Swift Turtle. And it was really emotional, really powerful. We were talking about each other. There were tears shed, and it was something that I never thought I would ever do. And so I'm super proud that I did that with my dad a couple years ago. And now I'm a GIF. I'm a GIF. So I got this bolo tie made for me by my cousin Rennie. She does beadwork, and it has an oak tree in it and the medicine wheel around it. And I was like, that's perfect. I can wear that on TV to show that we're still here, to show that Native Americans can be on television. And so every time I'm on camera, people see the bolo tie, and they're like, wow, what does that mean? Where you come from? It just raises awareness. And I do the Spurs games with Sean Elliott, who is from Tucson, Arizona. He is one of the greatest Spurs to ever play. His jersey's retired. He's won a championship, and he's been doing the TV broadcast for a long time. And he actually grew up in Tucson near the Pascua Yaqui tribe, if I have that pronounced. Yeah. And so he calls me Strong Oak on TV all the time, and so he loves it. He leans into it, and we're one of only a few broadcasts, a minority broadcast. Both guys are minorities, so really, really cool. And every time I wear that bolo tie, I get messages on social media, tweets, Instagram DMs. Like, that to me is so cool, because that's raising the awareness and showing people that we can have a dream and go get it. So I love it. I'm, again, from Massachusetts. The Basketball Hall of Fame's in Springfield, so a couple hours away from where I grew up. And I went there when I was 10 years old with my best friend Anna and my family. And that was when I realized I wanted to be in the NBA. There was like a little practice radio thing that you could pretend to be an announcer at. And when I was 10 years old or 12 years old, I sat down there and I felt it in my bones. And that was when I knew I wanted to be in the NBA. And ever since then, that dream never left my soul, never left my mind. I was always thinking about it. I'd cry myself to sleep wishing one day that I could maybe sit down at a game and broadcast the NBA. And now I get to do that for 82 times every single season. And you gotta enjoy the journey. I went to school for this. I did broadcasts in high school. I would pretend when I was playing Xbox to be an announcer. Like, I worked on this stuff. My parents probably thought I was crazy in the basement, screaming my face off, thinking I was an announcer. But now I'm an announcer, because it worked, okay? And so I graduated college in Boston. Then I moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Where are my Oklahoma people at? Yes, sir. Never thought I'd live in Oklahoma, but I worked at an NBC station in Tulsa for 2 years. I was doing everything. I was in the studio. I had a camera in my hand. That's me doing a story on a softball player who had a baby and was still playing softball in college. And that was just part of the journey. I spent 2 years in Oklahoma. I moved to Denver and covered the Nuggets winning their first championship in 47 years. That's me interviewing head coach Michael Malone. I somehow got the trophy, took a picture with it. And, I smoked a championship cigar with Nikola Jokic, the 3-time MVP. And he was feeling good, so he obliged. I said, can I get a picture with you? I was with them every single day on the road, in the playoffs, covering that team. And that's all about the journey. I wasn't an NBA announcer, but I was a reporter, and I was close. I could feel it. I could taste it. And now that's me every single night, And within those stops, within Oklahoma, within Denver, I always still kept that dream alive, kept the mentality of, I'm around the business, I'm in the business, but I'm not doing exactly what I wanted to do. I know my time will come. And so I needed to make sure that I had relationships around the league. I started meeting people, asking questions, sending emails to different broadcasters, showing them my work of my high school stuff, of my college stuff. Hey, I want to call games one day. How can I get better? And you need to always think about that. Whatever y'all want to do. If you don't want to be in sports, that's all good. But find that person that can help you. Don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to get critiqued on your writing or your music or your art or whatever you want to do. If you people are smarter than me, like science and math, get feedback on that stuff because that's important and that's how you end up here. We are in the NBA. We. There are 3 Native American players in the NBA right now. Everyone knows about Kyrie Irving. A lot of people know about Lindy Waters. And then we have Marjan Beauchamp. Marjan and I got connected at Nabi a couple years ago. And this was in January in Milwaukee. And the first time that, a TV announcer who's Native American was broadcasting a player that was Native American. And it's surreal. It still doesn't feel real, And my job is to amplify his story on the air. And my job is to amplify Kyrie's story on the air. My job is to amplify Lindy's story on the air. I know about these tribes. I know the history. And a lot of broadcasters before me probably didn't even know about this, didn't bring it up. But what I get to do is I get to talk about their stories, where they come from. I get to talk about my own story with this bolo tie that I wear. And when Sean asked me about it, I talk about it and I'm open about it. And for me, that's the best part, is just to be super open and honest. Hey, again, I didn't grow up on the res, but I'm here now, and that's what counts, right? These 2 gentlemen are 2 of the most famous sports announcers that we have right now. On the right, that's Kevin Harlan. He does a lot of NFL games on CBS. He does the NBA on TNT. And then on the left, that's Brian Anderson. He does the NBA on TNT. He does the Milwaukee Brewers baseball games. And again, these 2 guys are my biggest supporters, my biggest mentors. I went up to them when I was 18 years old in Boston. And I just asked them, I said, man, how can I be like you? I want to be like you one day. Can I email you? Can I text you? Can I annoy you? And I was definitely annoying. But I wanted to get better and I wanted feedback. And they would critique my work every single time I sent them an email. And most people will do that for you. So reach out to that person that you want to be mentored by. I didn't know these guys. They didn't know me, but they saw my work ethic. They saw my drive. They saw my passion for the game. And now I can text them anytime, call them, and they'll respond and help me out. Brian used to work for the Spurs way back in the day, and I met Brian Anderson in 2018. And he told his old Spurs boss about me back in like 2020. And then 5 years later, I'm with the Spurs now. So see how that works? You never know. You never know. Now it seems, Jacob, you were so busy. Did you have any fun? Did you do anything cool outside of work? Yeah, for sure. I encourage everyone to, if they can, study abroad. I studied abroad in Madrid, Spain for a semester and learned about Spanish culture. I got to travel to 6 different countries, and for me, that changed my life. And so my message also is have fun in college, have fun in high school, be safe about it, but do have your fun, hard work. I tried to make sure that I was working hard, but I also, like I said, took trips, studied abroad, all that stuff. And it really did change my life and gave me perspective and let me see the world. And I travel for a living, so now I get to see all the states, all the big cities. I get to meet different people, see different cultures here. And that's a big part about life. Once you start traveling, once you get out, get on a plane. I live on a plane. I'm on a plane every single night, And for me, that's super, super special and super important. So find mentors, love what you do, find that passion, and then go for it. I also want to say too, it's okay to not get it the first time. Maybe feel like you failed a little bit. I interviewed with 3 NBA teams before the Spurs, and they all said no. I interviewed in 2021, in 2023, and a couple months before I interviewed for the Spurs, I interviewed for another team. And they all said no, and it was super hard to accept that because you get so close, you're in that interview room, and then they tell you no. But I was like, man, I'm so close. I know it. I can feel it. I just need that opportunity. I need someone to believe in me. And so when I interviewed for the Spurs, my number one thing is I'm going to show them that I am more passionate about this than anybody else that they interview. I interviewed with Greg Popovich, who is one of the best coaches in the history of the game. I interviewed with R.C. Buford, who's the CEO of the Spurs and was a longtime general manager. And I looked them in the eyes and I said, I want the Spurs to be my life. And I promise you, I'll give 110%. I will live the Spurs culture. I will learn about the history. So it's not just showing up and calling the game and going home. I'm reading old stories about the Spurs championship teams in 99, and 2003, 2005, 2007, 2014. I'm watching old videos. I'm watching old games. All that preparation pays off. And so you got to make sure that you're always in that mindset, whatever you guys do. Being prepared. When you're prepared, luck will then kind of find you. I was prepared. I had gone through 3 interviews in the NBA. And so I already knew how to carry myself in those interviews. And then the 4th time came around, and I killed it. I think, right? Yeah. So again, I cannot stress enough mentorship, asking questions, even with your friends. I would do games to myself with my friends and just ask them and see what they think. It's not just the pros, it's your family, your friends. I had a lot of support. My best friend, Kevin, and I started a radio station in high school specifically just so I could get practice. He had no intention of doing radio, but he would sit there with me and do games because I wanted to do that. And so you find those people that empower you, that encourage you, that make you stronger, make you better. Surround yourself with a good support system, and everything's going to work out. That's Coach Popovich right there. And so before every game, I do an interview with him. And sadly, he had a stroke in November and had to leave for the rest of the season, and he has then retired this offseason. So I only got to do this with him once, and that was it. Boy, it was a pretty memorable interview, and take a look at what he told me with some advice.
Any advice from me?
I think you just be who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. And if that's not good enough for him, screw him.
Screw him. Dan, send it back to you.
That's so simple, but it's so true. Screw them if they don't like it, right? Screw them, who cares? And be yourself. Again, I go on TV and people see that and they're like, wow, we can do that too, So I want everyone in here to think that they can reach their dream, whatever it is. Just be passionate about it. Show that passion. Show that fire in your heart, in your soul. I'm super proud to represent the Mashpee Wampanoag Tribe. I'm proud to represent us, right? And for me, I live a dream. I have the best job in the world. Hard work, sacrifice. I work a lot of weekends, a lot of nights, a lot of holidays. But in the end, it's worth it because I get to do what I love. So if you find that passion, you find that thing you want to do for the rest of your life, go for it. Go for it, for sure. Absolutely. I'm going to take two questions. If anyone has a question, I see you right there. Have I ever met Caitlin Clark? No, but I did broadcast her game last week. And she is amazing, and what she's done for women's sports is cool, and for me to be able to just broadcast her games is a privilege. I did Paige Becker's game last week as well. And there's a lot of talented players in the W, so I love it. My man standing way back there, I see you. A good amount. One more. Yeah, I think not being scared. Oh, what was the question? You're right. She said, what other advice do I have? I think just not being scared. You can be nervous, that's fine. If you're nervous, you care. If you're nervous, you care. And I also think be interested, not interesting. Be interested in what you're doing. Don't try to be interesting to other people that are in that space. I got that advice from my mentor, Brian Anderson, and whenever I was doing a small college game, he goes, just be interested in the game you're doing. Pretend like it's the championship game. Don't try to pretend like you're some famous broadcaster and imitate guys and be fake. Just be real. One more, and then I got a surprise for you. Who turned me down? Who did I interview, you mean? With? I interviewed with a couple teams. I won't say that, but they were all great teams, great organizations. It just didn't work out, but I'm super happy to be with the Spurs, so I'll just keep it like that. All right, I got a surprise for you. So I am a sportscaster. That's what I do for a living, but I've been a musician longer than I've been a sportscaster. I've been playing music since I was 5 years old. I sing and I play guitar, and I figured, can I sing a song? Is that okay? Yeah. So, we all good back there? You can hear me? I've been playing in bars and restaurants since I was 15 years old. Maybe one day I'll release like an album or something, you know? I've been playing this song I'm about to sing since I was 15. Like I said, my dad taught me how to play guitar. I learned how to sing by myself. And he gave me a book of songs to learn that were like campfire songs, and this was one of them. It's a Bob Marley song that I think is super powerful. It's called Redemption Song. And I hope you like it. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I've ever had, redemption song, redemption songs. Get those phones out. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Whoa, have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I've ever had, redemption song, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Whoa, have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them are gonna stop at a time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I've ever had, redemption song. All I've ever had, redemption song. These songs of freedom, songs of freedom. My name's Jacob Tobey. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it. Love y'all.
Get loud, get loud. Get loud. That was amazing. That was amazing. So, on behalf of Unity, we have this gift for you. But real quick, I want everybody to rise. We got photographer here, just real quick with the guitar and everything. Let's get a photo. Please rise, everybody. Please rise.
Please rise.